Happy today. I am William Brown. This is the Happy Today show. Um, it's it's like I'm not getting um, tired of this show yet, but it is kind of interesting how I'm waking up, and I've noticed that there has been a pattern, at least this week, of I'm up, I'm moving, I'm doing all the things that um, I do in the morning. But it's this is kind of funny. I'm trying to put my hat on and kind of do that, but just moving a little slow. So starting the show at 1 minute after 7. It's like, what is that all about? You know, it's like I'm proving to myself that I'm doing it, but I'm doing it the way I want to do it. It's like there is a coach friend, Giovanni, that in one of his programs, he says that human beings don't want to be dominated, or the appearance that they're dominated. So there is there is this fight, and even unnecessary fight, that causes us to challenge things. Um, there's a number of things that are on my mind, and that I'm going to bring up today within the conversation. But I will pick a U card to kind of frame today. Um, let's see what the universe or what the UR card what's saying about me today. So I want to do it. Um, it's funny. You are curious. You are curious. That is the truth. Um, the On One Word Conversations today, the word is loyal, and it's interesting because that is a characteristic that I embrace and that I've been called and all that other kind of stuff. Being a loyal person, and that that means a lot. It's kind of interesting, the guest that I have today, and I can't believe that I'm saying this, but the guest that I have today um, has been I don't want to say grinding my gears. Um, I think they have identified um, some of the um, obvious practices, things that I have put in place to kind of keep me from being concerned about things. Um, so, from my scheduling, from my letting people know about things, it's all, it's like I've done pretty much an information dump, right? And kind of just like, hey, here it is. Here's what the show is. Here's what I need from you. Here's all that other kind of stuff, and it's all there. Um, but just because you say something or you put everything out doesn't mean that it is received um, well, or it's received at a level of understanding. And so you can either be frustrated or angry or disappointed at them, which in some cases I was, or um, I can recognize that there are some parts of my system that people still have a challenge with, and so I'm, tr- and I think the one reason why I am saying this, that I'm finding inquiry on this, is because I don't want to go into the conversation. I don't want to go into the conversation with that overhead, right? It's like, have you ever gone into a conversation with someone and you're pissed off about something they did or didn't do, but you're acting as if I'm not pissed off, but waiting for them to do one more thing, you know? And then it's like, this will be the shortest one-word conversation in the history of the show. You know, just one more thing, one more thing. So I don't want to go into the conversation that way. So I have decided to take on that. There's a part of my system that you know, that I've created that a lot of people are still figuring out for themselves. And because it's like there's a challenge that I have with my wife every once in a while of looking for something, and looking for it to be where we believe that it's supposed to be. And many times those are two different things, you know? So if it's like, honey, where's the scissors, right? I can't find them. And it's really that I haven't been looking for them. I just looked where I think the scissors would be, and they're not there. And if they're not there, they can't be found, you know? Um, so, um, so yeah, I am, I am curious. I had a conversation. There's a great platform that was created. I think it was introduced. If it wasn't introduced during the pandemic during this time, it was definitely promoted more, during this time, and I became aware of it doing it, and it's called Lunch Club. So I think it's lunchclub.ai, or I think it's AI, because I think AU is Australia. I don't think it's from Australia. But it is a way for you to connect with people all over the world, actually, and have like a 45 minutes, networking meeting type of thing. You can talk about business. You can talk about, interesting things, or just getting to know people and what people are up to. I had a couple meetings yesterday, and the last one, um, it started off. I don't want to say it started off rough, but it started off like a couple minutes behind because I was looking at emails and doing all those things, and it's like I got time, and then I have no time, and so for me, any time that I am not structured and kind of how I think things should go, there is a stronger possibility that it will go off the rails. Doesn't necessarily always does, but sometimes it does. So we started to have a conversation and started talking about my coaching. She was curious about, my coaching. I gave her my spill, told her, what I believe, and I could see in her face that she wasn't in agreement. She felt, I don't know, she thought I was quack. She thought I was, all that other kind of stuff. And she, to defend the way that she was thinking about what I was saying and wasn't saying, she was spotlighting, assessments and certifications and all those things that we say to give us validation of who, how we can show up and everything like that. And I made a statement, as I always do, that all of that is true and none of it is true. And and you can see in her face that yeah, that didn't go over well, because what she told me in her mind was just the truth. And it was like, okay, so I am open, I am curious, I am something, and there's something that I have agreed, and I will have a conversation with this word, if not next week, a week after, um, the word goal. And the reason why is because within the conversation, I made a statement, and I think I've said it on the One Word Conversation show, that I don't do well with goals. Right now, I just look at um, what I'm committed to. And the more that I look at what I'm committed to, then I can just do that. It just shows up. I kind of say what I'm going to do, but it's like I'm committed to this, and I'm just kind of go from there. Um, and she said that, maybe it wasn't maybe for her, but she tried to put it nicely, saying that it's not that I'm not a good goal setter, it's just I have a problem with the word goal. I have some baggage with goal that, I should, not should, but it would be interesting to have me look at it. So I was like, look, I'll look at it. But as I told her, in the conversation, the reason why I haven't looked at it sooner than now, one, is because I wanted to stay in action and I didn't want to let the word goal get in my way of doing things. So now, even though that I have some action, some momentum, I'm going to look at goals because I do believe there's an aspect of how I'm showing up and not showing up that I'm not putting things in writing. There's a lot of things that I'm not putting in writing that I value, but it's not something that I'm not committed to. And so I need to, let's say that, I get to do an inquiry on writing things down, not a journal, just writing down my goals, writing down my vision, writing down that process. There is something that is keeping me from writing things down. And I've told you the story. Um, and it's kind of funny because the more that I do the inquiry of my life, um, and there was a study, um, I think a number of months ago, but it was very fascinating for me because it said that um, the further we get away from the event or something, the more that our memory kind of gets, depleted, or it's not accurate. So even if we remember something, that is kind of true. There are some things that are in it. There's some things that are not. But every time that we go back to it, um, we either reinforce what um, what we've said before, or we will get further and further from what the truth of it is. And so there are sometimes when I go back and I look at my childhood, or I look at some past ways that I was showing up. I question it, like, is that really how it was, or if I'm now making that story. So here's the story that I tell about me writing down or not writing down things. The story that I tell is that there is this, when I was in school, there was the "I love you, do you love me?" or "I like you." I don't know what it was, what we said as kids. Yes or no, circle yes or circle no, and pass it back. And I don't know if this is the truth or if this is a story that that I've created. Um, and so it's fascinating because I've told this story so many times, and I believe this to be the truth. That I sent this response. I basically I created one. I wrote it down and I sent it to um, some young lady in pigtails, and not only did she put no, it was like in 7-year-old or 7-year-old language, it was like, hell no, right? And then laughed. It's like, I can't believe little Willie likes me and wants to do that. Good morning, Melissa. And so because of that, what I learned that um, that when you write things down, then people can judge it. Then people can, you know, um, really have a judgment about you. And so for a long time, I didn't write anything down. I was working in the place of, I'm going to say it to you, and if it doesn't go the way that I feel that it should, and you say something, I will deny it, you know, and it's just your word against mine. And I'm a likable guy, and I'm not gonna, no one's gonna question me because I just don't do that, and I could be, let's just say, not telling the truth to it. So that caused me to not write things down on a consistent basis. Good morning, someone that is, I think it's on one of my pages. You didn't go through the process of like letting um, StreamYard know who you are, so you're just a Facebook user. So, but good morning to you. So, if you can just put in your comments your name, I will address you. So, I realize that there is coming a point right now in my journey in what's going on that I need to write things down. I need to write things down to kind of write it in stone and be willing to have criticism about what it is. Um, and I think the word that I picked today, the card that I picked today was curious. I am curious. You are curious, and that is the truth. And it's not the truth because there are, even though it's a core value, I have recognized that there are moments where I choose not to be curious, where something comes up and it's like, I want no connection to that. I, it goes back to, the famous line from A Few Good Men's, you can't handle the truth. And it's not even, in some cases, it's not even the fact that I can't handle the truth. It's that I don't want to know the truth. I like my story. I like what's going on in my head. I like what I say about the matter. It doesn't need, I, I don't need um, to get any other input, input from it. So yes, I totally get that that is a place of denial, but I pick and choose about how and when I'm curious. So it's not a blanket curiosity. So yeah, it's amazing when you find those things about yourself and what you're gonna do. So am I gonna judge that there's a part of me that likes to stay in denial so I can keep my own story along? I don't like that about myself. But the fact that I'm aware that that is a part of me, now I can um, not just make a different choices, but I can be aware when I'm doing it and when I'm not doing it. So it's like, okay, I'm in denial right now. All right, I still have a choice. I can stay in denial or, or get out. Um, so yeah, so I am curious. I don't know how that's going to show up for me today. Is that I'm just going to go in my day um, with the appreciation of there are things that I know or that I'm currently aware of, and there are things that I'm not currently aware of. And so I am going to decide if I'm going to be curious about it or if I'm going to stay in denial about it, if I'm going to stay with the story, and to see how that shows up. Because I know when I embrace curiosity, when I move forward with curiosity, when I'm curious with individuals and when I'm curious with myself in a situation, things work out. Things get better. I get a level of knowledge that will help me be a better person and show up as myself, of an actionable awareness of myself, and that's a good thing. So that is my charge for today, and so it brings me to my prayer. So as this day continues, it is my prayer that we discover places that we are curious and not curious, and make a decision how we're going to move forward so we can show up, fully. Um, because the more that we're curious about ourselves and about the situations that we're in, the more that we're able to really be present. What I'm getting from this week of conversations, and I can't wait, Melissa, I hope you're still available for Sunday, um, because it'll be an interesting Sunday wrap-up conversation. There's been a lot of eye-opening things about this week. And with today's word being loyal, really going to really kind of dig in and kind of see where that is. There's something that I want to bring on to this show today, as I close, just as something, an exercise that I want to do that I learned from my conversation yesterday. So if you didn't hear or watch the conversation yesterday about Dharma, I would suggest that you look at that show, because just using your left hand and your right hand, your past and your future. And your past is depression. And so for this example, your past, when you hold on to the past, it brings you to a place of depression. When you cling to or hold on to your future, you're causing anxiety, right? So depression, anxiety. So what we want to do, what the invitation is to bring them together, so you can get balance, so you can be present. And as you can see, this is a sign of prayer. And so when you bring your past and your future together and get present to what is currently available to you, that is a place of prayer. And then you'll get the balance that you need. And so it really caused me to look at my how I look at my prayers, because there's so many people that on Facebook or different other things that send out the prayer requests, and it's like what a prayer request is. What I believe from this, what I believe is a prayer request is someone wants you to get present to the fear or the depression of their past, something that's happened, right? Because something that's happened, even if I was told 10 minutes ago that I got cancer, it happened in the past. I'm dealing with it in my reality, but it happened in the past. It's not still happening. Someone's not still telling me it. And their anxiety of the future, and they're inviting us to come in agreement and alignment to pray for them. And that, it just makes so much sense. I don't know. I like I said, I don't know if I'm making it make sense or something, but when we pray, consider that it's an invitation for you to bring balance and get present to your depression or your fear, your disappointment, and your anxiety about the future. And just get present. And when we're present, we get answers. That's why prayer works. So, yes. Happy today, my friends. I'll see you at 11 a.m. And great, Melissa. I'm glad that you're available on Sunday. That should be a great conversation. But see you at 11 a.m. when we talk about loyal. I'm sure loyalty is the act of being loyal. So I guess I'm sure loyalty is going to come up within that. But yeah, have a blessed rest of your morning. I'll see you at 11.